Anderson and Frank Rigney. We're pumped up. The two teams are pumped up. Let's go to the field right now as we prepare for the opening kickoff. And it will come to Bender at the 14-yard line. Bender gets it to the 30, which is not the greatest return that you'll ever see, before Ron Howard was there to push him out of bounds. A 61-yard kickoff, only a 15-yard return, and there is the way they will line up. Mike Kerrigan is as sweet a looking quarterback as you will see. His setup is unbelievable. He can throw with the best of us.
Well, he certainly had a great game. But, Pat, I think the most significant change that Hamilton made was to put Tony Champion in as a slot back. They've got three deep threats, and then, of course, the reliable Rocky DiPietro.
So from their 28, Kerrigan comes out throwing. Just as well for him that the ball was underthrown, because Greg Harding would have been in the end zone going the other way. Looking for Steve Stapler was Kerrigan.
A little surprising, Pat, coming right out throwing the football. As you take a look at that big offensive line of the Hamilton Ticats, of course, Miles Gurrell, the Eastern nominee as lineman in the country, 6'8", 290 pounds.
He's a big one.
And let me tell you something about Mike Kerrigan. He has completed 57% of his passes, but he did have a lot intercepted. This time he fires over the head of Walter Bender, and that is not exactly what the Ticats wanted. They wanted to come out, establish some kind of an offense, and instead it's 2 plays and out.
Well, I think what they would really like to do is not find themselves in the situation they were just in, 2nd and long. It's not a good situation against the Edmonton Eskimos. They can put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and of course those first 2 passes by Mike Kerrigan, not very good.
Leap, I think if there's one big advantage in this football game in the specialty teams, I think it's right now Paul OSBALDISTON is likely going to be outkicked quite badly today.
That is not a particularly good kick, except this much. He got a good roll out of it. Tom Richards was not able to catch it on the fly, so he nets 40 yards on that punt, does Paul OSBALDISTON. And now we are going to see the man that I consider to be really the ultimate Canadian quarterback, Matt Dunnigan.
Well, he's one of the best, and I know I've said many times before, if I was starting my football team, that's the guy I'd want to have at quarterback.
And some guys who can catch the football. Doug Allen is the newcomer in there. He played against BC last week, the brother of Calgary's Gary Allen. Dunnigan was hit from behind. The ball comes loose. And Hamilton has recovered at the 35. Oh, big Grover Covington, number 77, a guy who's going to put all kinds of pressure. And there is Leo Ezrins. Ezrins got the football. Covington got the hit. And the first big break of the ball game goes to the Ticats.
Well, when you come in as an underdog, you like to start off with something good happening to you. And that time, of course, the pressure of Grover Covington, the ball is loose. I believe it was Leo Ezrins that made the play, but Hamilton's in great shape.
Okay, it's still scoreless. We're just moments into this game. Grey Cup 86 will be back in just a moment.
Let's face it. You don't care that your new Eliminator battery from MotoMaster is guaranteed for as long as you own your car. Or that you'll never have to pay for another replacement battery again. You don't care that no car battery comes with a tougher guarantee than the Eliminator. Right now, all you care about is... the Eliminator from MotoMaster. It's the last battery you'll ever buy for your car. Only at Canadian Tire.
Small business, big business, mom, pa, and even kid business. Holiday time. Find your holiday answers now at Computerland.
Toshiba's world-renowned 3-in-1 printers. The optimum in quality and reliability for high-resolution, letter quality, graphics, and draft printing. Even colors. From the inventor of 24-pin printer technology you can afford.
Find your holiday answers now at Computerland.
Well, he's a very effective linebacker, and he was also a ball hawk at this moment as we take a look at Leo Ezrins. He gives possession to the Ticats at the Edmonton 35-yard line. Dan Huckluck, number 30, is in the ball game replacing Walter Bender, and maybe we could get Steve Armitage to tell us why as soon as he finds out. Kerrigan going deep. Touchdown, Hamilton. Steve Stapler. The little double pump fake. And Stapler got in behind the corner, Greg Harding.
Oh, what a beautiful throw. Pat, does that remind you of Stapler's catch in the Eastern Final game? Just a perfect throw by Mike Kerrigan.
Well, Riggs, I suspected they were going to go after Greg Harding because he's the guy you can get in behind. Stapler ran a hook and go, a perfect throw by Mike Kerrigan. And, you know, when you get a turnover, you, of course, love to take advantage of it. Hamilton did it pretty quickly.
One-play drive.
Well, there is no question that the speed at the receiver spots is definitely in favor of the Hamilton Ticats. You've got Ingram and Stapler on the outside, Tony Champion playing in the slot, and Rocky DiPietro to pick up all that garbage over the middle as the Ticats shock the Eskimos and jump out in front 7-0.
Well, of course, I'm sure so many people wondered, how will Mike Kerrigan handle the pressure today in the biggest game of his life so far? A couple of bad passes on the first series, but that time a beautiful strike to Steve Stapler.
Well, that's a very, very important leap, is it not, early in the football game to give a young guy like that confidence. You can't do it any better than that.
And the offensive line did a superb job in giving him time to throw. He was able to step up at 6'4". He's got great sight lines downfield, and boy, what a way to start, especially if you're the underdog.
And they really do resent the fact that so few people have had much confidence in their chance of winning this football game. In speaking with a number of the Ticats, they said the Eastern Conference was shut out in the Schenley balloting. Nobody thinks we're good enough to play against the Edmonton Eskimos. We'll find out later this afternoon.
Well, it took them 1 minute and 35 seconds to put the first major on the board. That's quick enough.
And I think we're going to have a lot of them here this afternoon, Riggs, on both sides. This will be Tom Richards from his 19-yard line. And Richards fights his way out over the 35 to about the 38. Let's go to Steve Armitage.
Thank you, Pat. With me now is Miss Grey Cup 1986, Mary Jeffrey from the Calgary Stampeders. Mary, congratulations. Was it the thrill of a lifetime being named Miss Grey Cup?
It certainly was. It's what a lot of girls dream of, and I guess I was just the lucky one that night. I feel very proud and honored.
The spirit here in Vancouver has been absolutely terrific.
It is incredible. The hotels are just beaming with excitement. It's just wonderful.
Who are you picking to win the game?
Well, I hope the West wins. I hope Edmonton wins, but of course the best team's going to win, so we're just here to enjoy the game.
Congratulations once again. Back to you, Pat.
The ball was overthrown by Dunnigan, intending it for Chris Skinner. Mark Streeter came up and gave him a little shot, too, as the ball went over his head. I think the Ticats want to be as physical as they have been at any time this year.
Well, of course, Mark Streeter is one of the more physical defensive backs in the league, but you know, you've got Jim Rockford, number 26, playing the corner. He has very little experience. On first down there, Hamilton was in his own defense to try and protect that. I'm sure you're going to see quite a bit of that.
2nd and 10, Eskimos. Well, that is, of course, what Hamilton wants to prevent. They do not want Dunnigan running all over the field. They put good pressure on him, but they couldn't contain him. He ends up picking up 14 yards before finally that man, 31, Ben Zambiazzi, made him pay the price.
Well, Pat, so far, neither one of these football clubs has brought a linebacker. They're trying to rush the opposing quarterbacks with just 4 people. And to rush Matt with 4 people, you've got a tough spot staying in your lanes. He'll take off that football every time they do that.
Out to the 52-yard line was Dunnigan. The handoff goes inside, and Chris Skinner will pick up about 3 or 4 yards.
Riggs, I think you made a great point about only rushing 4 people, but I really suspect that Hamilton is a little nervous about coming with the blitz because they don't want to get Jim Rockford, their young cornerback, locked up on a Brian Kelly or a Doug Allen one-on-one in a blitz situation.
And I'm a little bit surprised that they left Rockford on the corner. I thought that Howard Fields might end up playing the corner. However, it is 2nd down, about 7 yards to go for the Eskimos from midfield. And again, down goes Matt Dunnigan. Oh, there is just fantastic pressure. David Sauvé, Frank Robinson, Mike Walker, they all met at the quarterback. And of course, this is what the Ticats have done so well this year. They have rushed the opposing quarterback. They got 77 sacks. They were 4th best in the CFL.
Yes, and their 2 meetings with the Eskimos this year, they had totally 8 sacks, and Frank Robinson's just had a great 1986. He's had 4 sacks on the year himself, and all those linebackers are excellent at the blitz.
You know, the one thing, too, Pat, I think the Hamilton Ticats probably do better than anybody else in the Canadian Football League, and that gets that pressure from their down linemen. You know, a lot of people have to get linebackers in there to put pressure on you. Hamilton doesn't.
Oh, Tom Dixon shanks this one. Wayne Lee takes it at his 30-yard line. And Lee fights his way over the 40 to the 41. You know, Riggs, this game is reminiscent to me of the first Grey Cup that Huey Campbell coached in, and we'll get back and talk about that in just a moment, right after I pass along the reminder that Hamilton is out in front, 7-0 in Grey Cup '86. We'll be back in just a moment.
Why is shampoo from Zellers more than just shampoo?
Because every time you shop at Zellers, you earn Club Z points.
They can get you the best things in life for free.
The pair of socks could lead to a camera. Buying toothpaste could earn you these diamond watches, and on and on.
So remember, that's not just shampoo. I didn't get it at Zellers. Sorry. Then it's just shampoo. Shall we?
Don't be left out. Join Club Z at Zellers.
Louise?
Way you look at it, Canada. This is great compact car value. This is Dodge and Plymouth Canada K. Price $900 less than Ford Tempo GL, with $689 in no-cost extras and no increase over last year's price. And right now, you're looking at a 3.9% interest rate. Yes, 3.9% on Dodge Aries and Plymouth Reliant Canada K. But hurry, Chrysler's 3.9% great rate break is a limited time offer.
Riggs, the point I was going to make, back in that Grey Cup year when Edmonton played Montreal, the Eskimos were really gung-ho, and they came out of the chute jumping and hollering and screaming, and Montreal walked out like they were on their way to the office and won the game by 40-8 or something. And today I found the same thing. Hamilton very businesslike, and the other guys were, you know, really pumped up, but it hasn't transformed itself here on the field. This is Bender. Oh, and he slips the first tackle that would have had him back in the backfield. It was Frank Balkovic, the linebacker, who made the good penetration, but he wasn't able to wrap him up.
Pat, I'll tell you one thing. It's easy to take that enthusiasm away from a ball club. In the first 2 plays, they fumble the football, and then they have 6 points put up against them.
No, you're right.
Well, there's a stat that the league is keeping this year, and it's the takeaway giveaway category. And, of course, Hamilton was a +10 this year, and that, of course, ranks 2nd in the CFL, and they already the one big turnover they've been able to get.
It's 2nd down, 6 yards to go. Kerrigan lofts it out there to Bender. He wasn't able to make the catch. The ball was right on the money, but Craig Schaefer was right on Walter Bender.
Once again, he had pretty good protection, Frank, to throw that football. He seems to be having a little trouble throwing to the right side. The ball sailing a little bit. That is a tough catch for a running back coming out of the backfield. Looking back over your shoulder, try to make it, although Walter Bender just made an outstanding catch last week in Toronto.
So Paul OSBALDISTON is in to kick for the Ticats, standing at his 30. Waiting is Steve Howell at 89 and Tom Richards. That one was very nearly blocked. This is Richards from the 34-yard line, and he only gets to about the 36 before he's dropped.
Danny Bass came very close to blocking that punt, and if that's one area of concern for the Ticats, it's their kicking game with either Paul OSBALDISTON or Steve Stapler when he's in punting. These guys are not quick at getting the ball off, and there you see Danny Bass almost got it.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that if he could have one injury return, it would be Bernie Ruoff to come back and handle punting and the field goal. Well, let's see if the Eskimos can get on track here. They have the ball outside their 35-yard line, 1st down. Dunnigan over the middle. Chris Skinner makes the catch, then drops the football, and Ticats the ball.
They're going to count it as a reception.
Yeah, they're snake bit so far.
Looks like Ben Zambiazzi making the play, the outstanding middle linebacker, number 31 of the Ticats, and the second big turnover of the football game in the first 5.5 minutes goes once again against the Eskimos.
Well, it's Zambiazzi who really strips the ball loose from Chris Skinner. That was a great throw by quarterback Matt Dunnigan. A good play, and Skinner's got to hang on. Now, he's had trouble late in the year hanging on to the football, but at this point in time, not too many things going right for the Eskimos.
So the Ticats with possession in midfield. Kerrigan's pass is dropped by Rocky DiPietro. Ron Howard was the cornerback defending on that side.
You know, as you look at this receiving core of the Hamilton Tiger Cats right now, they've really got the perfect balance. Three guys like Ingram, Stapler, and Champion that can go deep at any time, and then a guy like Rocky DiPietro who is so dependable on those medium-range patterns.
And then a guy like Walter Bender coming out of the backfield. So it's 2nd down and 10. Kerrigan floats that one up. Ingram goes down. Ticats want an interference call. There will be none forthcoming. As we go to the sidelines and Steve Armitage.
Pat, the reason you didn't see Walter Bender in the lineup for Hamilton in the early going was he had too much stickum on his hands. He had to come to the bench and wipe it off, and that's the reason he didn't go in the early going.
You know, it's funny. I thought maybe they had just made the move to put Huckluck in there to pass block, because on that one play, they, of course, did get the touchdown. OSBALDISTON, boy, he does take a lot of time. Gets this one away, however. And Steve Howlett zigged when maybe he should have zagged and is wrapped up at the 18-yard line. The special teams of the Ticats are playing like they're possessed. Pat Brady was first down, number 51. Oh, what a beautiful facility it is here in British Columbia. BC Place Stadium, as fine a building to watch any sporting event is. And Riggs, I'll tell you, you're so fortunate, because some of the places we go to, you know, should be destroyed, and here you walk in and you get all pumped up.
Well, there's close to 60,000 CFL fans enjoying the activity so far. The Ticats leading 7-0.
Oh, Dunnigan has his man, Brian Kelly, but the pass was overthrown. Lance Shields was defending against Brian Kelly.
Well, that's a matchup they've tried to get during the regular season. In fact, Brian Kelly was able to get in behind Lance Shields in a regular season game to win in Hamilton. But this young cornerback, Lance Shields, he's had 8 interceptions this year. He's played really well. He's had USFL experience and, of course, came to Hamilton last year on a 21-day trial. He's played well.
2nd and 10, and what appears to be an anti-Edmonton crowd gets on Dunnigan a little bit. And again, he's dropped. Well, when they write the story of this football game, they better talk about that young man, David Sauvé, because, you know, there was some discussion about whether or not Al Bruno was doing the right thing by allowing Sauvé to play as opposed to Rod Skillman.
Pat, what a tremendous job they do with their front people, but that time the Hamilton Ticats do bring their linebackers. Ben Zambiazzi comes from the middle, and almost all of them meet at the quarterback. Just great pressure.
There they all are. And there is Sauvé.
Zambiazzi got a piece of him as well, and Dixon's going to have to kick from close to his own 5-yard line.
It's interesting, Dave Sauvé originally was drafted by Edmonton, couldn't make their club.
Touchdown, Hamilton. Mark Streeter blocked the punt. And then you saw the recovery by Jim Rockford.
Talking about the Hamilton Ticats, Paul OSBALDISTON taking time. Dixon certainly didn't get that one off very quickly, but once again, the Ticats just pouring through the offensive unit of the Edmonton Eskimos. Mark Streeter, I believe, was the Ticat that blocked the kick.
Of course, Jim Rockford, 26, the young rookie, falls on it, and what a break for the Ticats.
Well, this is a nightmare of a first quarter for the Eskimos. I would think there'd be the odd guy in the stands who bet with the 12 points who might be enjoying the situation right now. It is 14-0. Hamilton shocking Edmonton. Grey Cup 86 will be back in just a moment.
Once in a long while, a truly great saving comes along. This is it. From Hyundai, factory rebates on new 86 models in stock. $750 on 86 Pony GL and GLS. $750 on 86 XL. $1,000 on 86 Stellar GSL. Lots of models and colors, standards and automatics, immediate delivery, and a check from Hyundai for $750 or $1,000. Canada's best car value just got even better.
Whatever your financial goals are, the life insurance industry has the products to help you achieve them. We offer RRSPs and a wide choice of savings and retirement income plans. We can help you build for the future and provide guaranteed protection for you and your family. A sound, secure financial plan can help you achieve tomorrow's goals without sacrificing your enjoyment of today. Talk to your life insurance agent about the best way to achieve financial security.
Well, the Edmonton Eskimos have had the ball 4 times and turned it over on 3 of those occasions, including this block punt by Mark Streeter, recovered by Rockford in the end zone for the 2nd touchdown of the ball game for the Ticats.
How about Jim Rockford? If Les Brown doesn't hurt his knee, of course, Rockford doesn't even play today, and here in the first quarter, he's got a touchdown. Not bad.
This is Tom Richards from about his 18-yard line. And Richards, with a good return, is out over the 40 to about the 42. Riggs, let me ask you this. How long will Coach Parker go with Matt Dunnigan with the kind of pressure that he's been subjected to? Does he go to Damon Allen or not?
Well, he won't hesitate to change quarterbacks, Pat. He's done that all year long, but I don't really think you can fault Matt so far. He's had so much pressure on him, just right in his face immediately. What he's got to do here, I think, is start throwing a couple of little screens, draws, try to take something away from that Ticat defense or just teeing off on it.
And that one was very nearly picked off. Well, Mark Streeter, who's obviously very much interested in being one of the candidates for the Carling O'Keefe Defensive Game Star, has really played well in this opening quarter.
Well, it's the 2nd time Hamilton, they just get in that zone defense on 1st down, and Mark Streeter's job is to get out as quickly as he can into the flat area and get underneath the out pattern. And he did a super job and almost came up with one. He had 9 interceptions on the year.
That Hamilton defensive secondary averages very close to 6 years pro experience. They swing it up to Milson Jones. The ball is ruled incomplete. For a split second, it appeared as though Jake Ireland was going to rule that a fumble. But he said no, incomplete forward pass. But again, it's 2 downs and out.
And Frank Robinson, the linebacker, just did an outstanding job of coverage. He did not see the football, but he was certainly right there.
Well, it was that little swing screen pass, and sometimes you don't have much luck because Frank Robinson was on Milson Jones. Man-to-man, he was right there just as the ball arrived.
You know, it's not as though Hamilton is moving the ball all that effectively against Edmonton. It's the fact that the Eskimos have turned it over 3 times. So Dixon is back to punt once again on 3rd and 10. This is a beauty. Paul Bennett is back to his 19. And Bennett is out over the 30 to about the 33-yard line. Hamilton is playing exceptionally well in all facets of this game. Let's go to Alan McCann.
Well, Pat, veteran Bill Stevenson would like to be helping his Eskimo mates, but Bill, so far, disaster for your team. What a terrible start.
Well, I think what's happening here, we made a few mistakes, but Hamilton's changing their defense up. All year long, they've gone with certain kinds of defenses, and now they're blitzing us like crazy. I think the reason they're doing that is because our offensive line has been adjusted so much. We've got different people playing all different kinds of positions, and I think they're trying to confuse us by just blitzing all over the place, and that's why we're having most of the problems right now. I think we'll be able to get through this stuff, though, and come back. Our defense is playing awesome, and I think we're going to be able to come back from this, and I think we're going to win this anyways.
Okay, Bill.
Well, Mike Kerrigan rolled to the left stopped, fired the ball, and it was closer to more Edmonton Eskimos than Hamilton Ticats.
Once again, good time to throw the football, though. There's no question the Ticats are winning the game up front, both offensively and defensively against the Eskimos so far.
Second down, 10 yards to go. Hamilton. Kerrigan looks, fires, going deep again for Stapler, and he's got the football inside the 40-yard line at the 35. Oh, what a beautiful catch by Steve Stapler from San Diego State. He's been in this league 7 years and just having a career ball game.
Well, I'll tell you, who's not having a career game is Greg Harding, because on 2nd and long, Edmonton said, we're going to play a deep zone. Now, when you do that, he's got that deep corner of the field, and he shouldn't let Stapler get in behind him. Stapler, though, makes a great effort.
43 yards the game. Just a beautiful catch by Stapler. The ball right on the money by Mike Kerrigan, and the Ticats are back at Edmonton territory at their 35-yard line. On the draw, this is Walter Bender trying to get to the outside now, but he's wrapped up by Craig Schaefer after a pickup of only about 3. He wanted to go inside. Then he got to the outside but couldn't get around the corner. Steve Armitage, what's happening?
Pat, I've got Mark Streeter with me down here on the Ticats bench. Mark, your team is playing inspired football.
Oh, yes, we are. As far as the block, I like to say I'll give God all the praise and glory. Mitch Price freed me up. I blocked the ball. Jim Rocker fell in the end zone, and that's the way we play ball as a team unit and inspired, as you said.
Good luck, Mark. Pat?
Well, the pickup was only a couple of yards, so Meckett's 2nd and 8. And again, Walter Bender drops the football. That's a drive-killing drop pass that doesn't do a whole lot to pump up your offense.
Well, Frank, I think it's apparent now here in the first quarter that Edmonton has decided they're not going to blitz Mike Kerrigan too much this afternoon. Maybe they feel with the speed in that receiving core, they don't want to get locked up in too many one-on-one situations, but they're just coming with 4 men, and they're not getting any pressure on Kerrigan at all.
This will be a 39-yard field goal attempt by Paul OSBALDISTON, well within his range. He was drilling them through from around midfield in practice. It is good. Can you believe this?
That kick was almost blocked. We already had one.
I mean, who could have predicted that in the first quarter the Edmonton Eskimos would be trailing 17-0?
Number 92, Zachary splits the seam there, comes inside of Leo Ezrins, I believe, almost blocks that kick. It's been a strange first quarter.
It really
but
has.
Completely dominated by Al Bruno and his Ticats.
You know, Al Bruno has to be so pleased to have been able to get Paul OSBALDISTON. You know, this year he kicks a 51-yarder in the rain in Regina to give them a tie. He kicks the game winner against the Ottawa Rough Riders. This young fella's just done a great job.
3 minutes, 30 seconds left to play in the opening quarter. 17-0, Hamilton. 12-point underdogs coming into the ball game. Mark Jackson, number 5, is back along with Tom Richards, number 25, to receive the kick from this man. OSBALDISTON is from the British Columbia area. This is Mark Jackson from his 15-yard line. He's finally covered at about the 35. He had his legs going so fast that he kind of tripped himself. Steve Armitage, what's happening?
Pat, we have an injury report from the Hamilton Ticat bench. Jim Rockford has gone to the dressing room. He split the underneath of his chin. He has gone in for stitches. And Pat, he's also gone in to get his pants repaired. He ripped his pants.
Well, of course, that means that, excuse me, Pat, that number 37, Terry Lean, will come in at the halfback spot. Howard Fields, number 16, moves out to the corner.
Number 37 is Terry Lane. Marco Sincar lines up opposite him, but the ball is handed inside to Milson Jones, and Jones gets to about the 39-yard line with a pickup of about 4 yards. Frank Robinson and David Sauvé, 43 and 88 respectively, make the stop. And there you take a look at Dunnigan looking at his wrist. He's got the plays written on adhesive tape there, and he just checks them over. And he's called it now on 2nd and 7. Obviously a passing play. Let's see where he goes. Hamilton blitzes on the play. They brought Perry Lane, and a penalty marker comes down. It'll be Leo Ezrins called for interference on Skinner.
Ezrins knew he was going to see that flag as well.
Forward pass interference. Hamilton, number 72. First down.
Well, Leo's been active.
Now, there's no question about this one. Skinner gives him a good move to the inside, and I think Leo Ezrins made the smart play. You're in a blitz situation like that. If he lets Skinner get away, he can go for a big one. No, Leo made the right move. Hold him and take the penalty.
Very good point that you make. It is first down, Edmonton, the ball at their 44-yard line. Quickly to Rick House. The ball comes free again, and they will rule no catch. In other words, it is not a fumble. And that's a bit of a break for the Eskimos, who desperately need one.
You know, Frank, I was talking to Glenn Jackson, the fine linebacker of the BC Lions, the other night, and I said, Glenn, what would you do if you were the defensive coordinator of Hamilton in this game? He said, I would bring everybody I could against Matt Dunnigan. They've run safety blitzes, all-out blitzes, and, boy, they've been effective with it.
Here they come again.
This time the catch is made on the sidelines. That's the newcomer, Doug Allen, with Howard Fields bouncing him out.
What a great debut Doug Allen had last week for the Edmonton Eskimos. 3 catches in that football game against the BC Lions. One of them a 98-yard touchdown score. 124 yards total yardage against the BC Lions.
Not a bad way to break in.
Oh.
Well, as you can see, it's been anything but an offensive display to this point. Dunnigan is forced out right at the yardstick. Howard Fields again there to make the play defensively for the Ticats. And with 1:40 left to play in this opening quarter, allow me to put a bit of a damper on proceedings right now by offering sympathy to the family of a good friend of all of us in football, Ray Boucher. Ray Boucher was a referee in the Canadian Football League for many, many years and a close observer of the CFL scene. He passed away in Ottawa today. To Madeline and his family, we extend our deepest sympathy. It's second down, 11 yards to go. Edmonton with the ball on Hamilton's side of midfield as a penalty marker comes down, and Nelson Jones doesn't catch the football.
I don't think I've seen
Edmonton, number 55.
I've seen a game where the ball is being dropped by so many different people. Obviously, weather's not a factor here at BC Place. Nobody can hold on.
Well, I think the nerves really get going in a Grey Cup game. And, you know, let's face it, the Edmonton Eskimos have got some young guys on that club. Wilson Jones, well, he hasn't played, you know, and it's tough for these guys. But, you know, you get 2 or 3 series, you think they'd work the jitters out.
Incidentally, the penalty was against 55, Kurt Chapman, the right guard.
I'll tell you one other thing, that Hamilton defense is really a physical defense, and the Edmonton Eskimo receivers know that. You know, every once in a while, you start thinking about that when you go to catch the football.
If you don't, you're stupid. What a beautiful punt by Dixon to Paul Bennett at the 8-yard line. Now, that's the best job that the covered team of the Eskimos has done here this afternoon. They're down to limit him to a return of just 6 yards after a 45-yard punt. Steve?
Pat, I'm standing on the sidelines behind the Hamilton bench holding the helmet that belongs to David Sobe. You can see the shamrock. This is in honor of the late King Clancy, a good friend of the Hamilton Ticats, and of course a good friend of their owner, Harold Ballard. Harold
is here today, or was to be here, and I'm sure he wouldn't have missed it for the world. And there was never a doubt in his mind. He told me, no question, we'll just stomp on those guys. Well, to this point, he's right, simply because the Eskimos haven't had too many breaks go their way. John Mandarich made the stop. As you take a look at Walter Bender, still down after carrying the football for a pickup of about 4 or 5 yards. This is an amazing thing. Hamilton 17 points is the second most in the first quarter of any Grey Cup game. The record of 18 was achieved by Hamilton in the 1943 Grey Cup game against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. There's Harold. with Joe Zuger.
Well, Harold's having a great year so far. The Toronto Maple Leafs in first place. The Hamilton Tiger Cats, their third Grey Cup in a row.
Looks great, too, doesn't he?
He sure does.
Way to go, Harold. You're not looking bad for an old-timer.
The Ticats don't want to lose Walter Bender, and he looks like he's in a great deal of pain down there. Now, he's only averaged 3.8 yards when he's rushed with the football, but they want him as a primary pass receiver coming out of the backfield, and they do not want to lose him.
There was some suspicion that the way the Eskimos might stop that passing attack of the Ticats would be to really jam Tony Champion at the line of scrimmage. Have you noticed that they've been giving him the odd little shot?
Well, they've been playing so much zone defense. You know, the linebackers try and give him a shot, but Tony Champion is a true sprinter, got great quickness, and he's a tough guy to jam off the line of scrimmage.
Jackie, you know, has to be concerned, but Riggs, I think he's done an outstanding job this year.
Oh, he has without question. I think he's just as surprised as what has gone on in his first 10 minutes as anybody is. As we took a look at Bender, just in severe pain, obviously. Let's go down to Al McCann at field level.
Well, all is certainly not sweetness and light here on the Eskimo bench either. 17-0 the score, and Rod Conn up there, starting offensive guard, had his bell rung a little bit on the last play, and he was having problems remembering who his backup man even was, and I think he'll probably miss a series, although he says, I can play. But certainly, it's been a rocky start for the Grey Cup, at least the Western champions.
Al, what are they saying down there? What are the players muttering?
Well, the players are, concerned. This is a very young team, as you know, and the coaches are working with them and trying to keep them cool, and the injured players are trying to help. But they're stunned a little bit, and it's reminiscent of that Grey Cup a few years back when it was 20-1 for Ottawa at halftime.
Yeah, there's still so much time left in this game, and Edmonton has such an explosive attack that 17 points shouldn't really terrify them, but it's something to think about.
I wouldn't be surprised, Pat, if Jack Parker sees fit to utilize Damon Allen if Matt doesn't get them going in a series or two.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise too many people, I wouldn't think. But in fairness to Matt, I mean, he hasn't had a whole lot of time to think about things back there.
Well, in fairness also to Dunnigan, you know, they cough up the football. Chris Skinner, after a great throw, he read the zone perfectly, and it wasn't his fault. You know, things just haven't gone their way.
So it's second down, and let's call it 6 yards to go for the Ticats at their 18-yard line. Kerrigan again looking for Ingram, and this one is stolen away by Greg Harding. Oh, that's a magnificent interception, and isn't it nice to see that Harding comes up with the big play because he has been victimized by Steve Stapler.
Pat, for one of the few times in this ball game, the Edmonton Eskimos come with a full blitz. You see their linebackers, Schaefer and Bass, coming in to try and put pressure on Kerrigan, and obviously man-to-man coverage. Leaf, you talked about Harding and the guy that they were going to try to pick on. They have been very successful until that play.
Well, he does a super job, and you know what you want to do as a defensive back is stay on the hip of the receiver and then make your break. He did it perfectly.
From the Hamilton 48-yard line, it is first down for Matt Dunnigan. And now he's going for the bundle. And Rick House and Brian Kelly collided, and one bounced off the goal post. Kelly is a little slower getting to his feet. Fortunately, they're both all right.
Well, you can see the goalposts are still shaking, and this is pretty scary. Trying to go to Kelly on the post, but watch House hit him. They knocked into that goalpost, and they're lucky somebody didn't get hurt badly.
Well, at the end of the first quarter, the score is Hamilton 17, Edmonton nothing. Grey Cup 86 will return with the second quarter in a moment.
G'day. Always wanted to see Canada. The wildlife, sport, the scenery. But there was one thing missing for me. Now it's here, so am I. Foster's Lager. Australia's Ace of Purity. Ripper.
Bit Foster's, Pete.
And that must be the call of the wild.
Foster's, now brewed here.
And cop a look at the size of this biggin.
This is the most powerful
powerful piece of energy we've ever wrapped our name around. The Energizer, putting energy in the palm of your hand.
When you get hold of the Nintendo Entertainment System, when you master Rob the video robot and meet the challenge of Gyromite, when you shoot the light-sensing zapper, when you play the system with the most arcade hits, you're playing with power. The Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power.
As we start the second quarter, it is second down, 10 yards to go. Dunnigan again in trouble. The ball again comes loose. Leo Ezrins was there to make the tackle. Zambiazzi was there to recover the football. Hamilton has it back in Edmonton territory.
At least we've talked about it so much already in this first quarter of this football game, how that pressure of the Hamilton Ticats. First of all, they started the pressure with only the down linemen. Now they're bringing their linebackers, and almost nobody gets blocked.
Well, Zambiazzi's the first one to get there. Ezrin trips the ball loose, and Big Ben Zambiazzi comes up with the fumble recovery. But, you know, you look at championship teams, and you classify them in a number of ways. Do they have a good defense for starters? Hamilton has a great one.
They also have the football at the Edmonton 53. And rush it into about the 49-yard line. Danny Bass and James Zachary were there to make the tackle on Jed Tommy, who carried the ball for the first time on that particular occasion. You know, Kerrigan and Dunnigan, the two Irish field generals, have had something less than career games. Kerrigan is 2 out of 10 in passing. Dunnigan is 2 out of 9. But Kerrigan likes his chances better because he's out in front 17-0. Second down, 7 yards to go. Right over the middle to Ingram, and Ingram came within a step of breaking it all the way. He got inside Greg Harding. Harding made the shoestring tackle, otherwise it's end zone.
Well, I know this is one of the things that Don Southern was concerned about, getting caught in a blitz one-on-one. Ron Ingram that time on Greg Harding, and that's the area they've gone. They've had some big plays over there.
18 yards to pick up. First down, Ticats. The ball at the 30-yard line. There's the big stat. 3 turnovers to 1. Over the middle again, this time to DiPietro, who's wrapped up immediately by Danny Bass and only manages about 3 yards. Rocky said, well, nobody won any Shenleys. Maybe we will win the one that it's all about anyway. They've got a leg up on it with 12:55 left to play in the first half. 17-0 Hamilton, looking for more. Second down, 8 yards to go from the 28-yard line of the Eskimos. Kerrigan, Fort champion, picked off. Phil Jones with the interception. Well, the wily old veteran who played his college ball at Simon Fraser, Phil Jones, comes up with a big play.
Well, Edmonton brought Mark Jackson into the game as a 6th defensive back and played a 2-man deep zone, and Phil Jones gets the easy interception. I think he pulled a hamstring there as well.
12:35 left to play in the second quarter. 17-0 Hamilton leading Edmonton. Grey Cup 86 will be back in just a moment.
This is Ford Taurus, the sensational new car that's getting all the rave reviews for its design innovations, its high technology, the way it handles and rides. Now, Motor Trend's Car of the Year comes on even stronger for 87. If you haven't driven Taurus, see your Ford dealer right away. He's got one now with your name on it. At Ford, quality is job one.
We got the time, believe it, we got the time, we got the time, that's it, and we just can't get enough. We got the time, believe it, we got the time, we got the time, that's it, and we just can't get enough. We got the time.
Phil Jones may have saved the ball game for the Eskimos because trailing 17-0, you don't want to give another 7 up. 17, incidentally, seems to be the magic number right now. Hamilton leads 17-0. Edmonton has moved the football a total of just 17 yards.
It's been all defense of the Hamilton Tiger Cats here in the first half so far. Big turnovers.
Triggs, it's got to be just amazing for you to have seen Edmonton in the flesh last week. Looked like they could beat anybody in the world.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm really, really impressed with this Ticat defense. I think they're just dominating this football game.
Dunnigan collides in the backfield. Finally does pick up the ball. Has Brian Kelly, but it's picked up. Lance Shields, number 28, comes up with the big play again.
Talked about Lance Shields. He's had a super year for the Ticats. Watch the hit by Ben Zambiasi coming up right there. Dunnigan saw him coming and floated it. Great reaction by Lance Shields to make the interception.
I think that play really tells you everything you want to know about how the Eskimos have played this afternoon. Matt takes the pass from center, bumps in to Milson Jones, and then throws the interception.
Looks a little like a fire drill, doesn't it? They do not look organized on offense.
So Hamilton has possession at their 38-yard line. Kerrigan's pass is caught by Tony Champion up around the 45. This is exactly now what they want. Got a penalty marker down. Is Mandridge headbutting somebody out there?
I think it may be roughing the passer.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Hamilton, number 58.
Going the other way. Jason Riley, number 58, the offensive guard, called for the infraction. He and John Mandridge have been quite a battle out there so far this afternoon.
I don't know if you'll see after the ball was released, there goes Jason Riley, and he takes a shot at Mandridge in the back, and that's a good call. There's no sense in doing that.
Well, it nullifies what would have been a 6-yard gain as well. You were saying about the problems, Al.
Phil Jones, who intercepted a while back, damaged his knee, and he's trying to walk it off, but that would mean Jeff Volpe, number 18, would have to go into the ball game. Either that or shuffle it around completely.
It's 1st and 25, and on the draw, they give to Walter Bender, and Walter's going no place. Danny Bass, the middle linebacker, number 30.
Frank, you saw Danny Bass a lot this season. Some people say this was his best ever.
Well, he had an excellent year. He, of course, leads the Eskimos in initial tackles. But you know, the guy they've almost completely ignored here is Stuart Hill. I mean, Stuart Hill was the designated sacker, obviously led this football club in putting pressure on opposing quarterbacks. But he's been not a factor at all. Stuart Hill, 36.
So it's 2nd and 25. The ball is at the Hamilton 22-yard line. Penalty marker comes down. Count violation against Kerrigan, ensured.
You talk about Stuart Hill, Frank.
Time count violation. Hamilton, number 2.
Ralph Schultz, number 67, is that right tackle. And the only reason he is playing is because of the injury to John Malinowski. And if we haven't mentioned Stu Hill, it means that Schultz is doing a good job.
The ball is now back at the 18-yard line. They've got to get to the 49 for a first down. So
good luck.
Yeah, it's 2nd and 31. There aren't a whole lot of plays that are put in for that. Well, there was real confusion. Tony Champion went down before the ball got to him. Now has words with Cliff Tony. Greg Harding has a word or two for him as well.
This has not been the most well-played football game I've ever seen.
In all fairness to Tony Champion, you know, he played wide receiver for most of the year, and moving into the slot back position, the reads are entirely different, and he just got himself into the wrong spot.
The Eskimos might have been a little suspect there. They had both of their backup defensive backs in the game, both Volpe and Jackson, because now Phil Jones has gone to the dressing room with that bad knee.
Thank you, Al McCann. Here's the punt from Paul OSBALDISTON. Tom Richards gets into Hamilton territory at about the 53. And we had Wayne Lee. He was jawing it up a little bit with Greg Harding. No penalty marker down, however. It's 17-0. Hamilton leading Edmonton. Grey Cup 86 will be back in just a moment.
A great name in beer should be the start of a truly great tasting light beer. Now it's here. New OV Light. A great taste in beer comes to light.
Been waiting long?
Just a couple of minutes. What did you think of that investment proposal?
I think we should go with these people. I like their attitude, and we're bound to do better than leaving our money in savings.
And the broker?
He seems really competent, easy to talk to, and what I liked most, he took the time to explain things. I'd say he's first rate.
I'm not surprised.
What do you mean?
You never would settle for second best.
Richardson Greenshields, investment advisors to Canadian Enterprise and enterprising Canadians.
My wife says Peak Freen's shortcake biscuits are so wonderfully rich we should save them for only very special occasions. And I think she's absolutely right. Happy birthday, Harry.
What are you saving your Peak Freens for?
He's the head coach of the Eskimos now, but when he played, he was selected the player of the quarter century. Jackie Parker knows what it takes to win, and he may well win the Coach of the Year trophy this year, or it may go to the man on the other side of the field, Al Bruno. The one we mentioned off the top of the show receives so little recognition and yet is so well liked by everybody that plays for him. First down, Eskimos from the Hamilton 52. Dunnigan's pass was nearly picked off by Jim Rockford, who's back in the ball game. He was looking for Doug Allen.
Dunnigan's hurt, Pat.
Yeah.
Mike Walker, number 61, who was second in the league in sacks this year with 21, tied with the toaster, Brett Williams, just unloads on Matt Dunnigan as he gets ready to throw the football.
Did he knock a tooth out? Because it seemed to me that's what Matt was picking up off the turf.
Contact lens, Pat.
Oh.
Matt is forever losing his contact lens.
Well, the first appearance by Damon Allen as he comes into the ball game, and as we mentioned, we didn't think there'd be any hesitation on changing quarterbacks from Jackie Parker's point of view. It did require an injury, but Damon Allen sees his first action.
And for those of you who don't watch a lot of Canadian football, he is the brother of Marcus Allen in Oakland. Excuse me, let's call it California. There was a procedure penalty, and that play will come back.
Brian Kelly, I think, did not have the correct snap count.
Offside, Edmonton number 70.
Once again, little things hurting the Eskimos. Turnovers have been the killers, but a little procedure penalty by Brian Kelly, and those are the little things that add up. You see Kelly at the top of the screen and just simply didn't know the snap count.
I honestly do believe that the Eskimos were so pumped up that they're out of sync. I mean, they came roaring out of that dressing room like they were on their way to war.
You know what, Pat? I think that's a tremendous point. Paul Bennett and his group said we like to just stay on an even keel, and that's the way they've played.
Allen's pass intercepted. That's Howard Fields. Howard Fields gives Hamilton possession in Edmonton territory with 9 minutes and 38 seconds left to play in this second quarter.
I believe that is the 6th turnover against the Edmonton Eskimos in a quarter and a half of football. It's Damon Allen's first throw of the game, and the Hamilton Ticats will have it at the Eskimo 53 when we return. Grey Cup 86. We'll be right back.
Volkswagen, how so many beautiful friendships got started.
Somewhere in this room is a beautiful antique, hidden under layer upon layer of paint. Now, Black & Decker will find it with Heat & Strip, the remarkable paint stripper that works with hot air, not caustic chemicals. Heat & Strip bubbles away years of paint. Less work and a lot less mess. It makes all other ways of stripping paint antique. Heaton Strip from Black & Decker.
Now you can own a German-engineered road sedan and laugh all the way to the bank. The Volkswagen Jetta, the affordable German-engineered road sedan.
This is ice on the left knee belonging to Walter Bender. He is now out of the game and will not be back into the game, maybe in the second half. Pat?
Thank you, Steve. There's Matt Dunnigan. He's going to get that contact lens all fixed up as the Hamilton Ticats take over at the Eskimo 53-yard line. Kerrigan's pass is caught by Steve Stabler for a first down inside the 40 at about the 38-yard line. Greg Harding made sure that he didn't get up and go any further.
Lee, you were talking earlier about the great job the offensive line of the Ticats is doing. Just watch this. Here's Stu Hill, number 36. He comes along with the other linebackers. They don't even get a couple of yards of penetration, let alone put any real pressure on quarterback Kerrigan. All the time in the world to throw the football.
Ralph Schultz again doing the job at that right tackle position for Hamilton. The give is inside to Dan Huckluck, and Huckluck will get very close to the 35-yard line before running into Craig Schaefer. And the reason, of course, that we emphasize Ralph Schultz is because he is playing right opposite Stuart Hill on many, many situations.
Well, he's been with the Ticats for 3 years. He's a big one, 6'5", 261, so you know he's got the physical tools.
It's second down, about 7 yards to go. Kerrigan's pass may have been deflected, nevertheless caught by Tony Champion at the 26-yard line. Jeff George, number 29, providing the defensive coverage. Go ahead, Al.
You know, I've never worn contact lenses, Pat, but Matt Dunnigan, I've seen him lose his maybe 5 or 6 times during the season, but this is the toughest he's ever had getting it back in. I asked him if there was any damage to the lens. He said no. I think it's probably the tension and nerves, but he finally did get it back into his eye.
It's first down. Ticats the ball just outside the Edmonton 25-yard line. Dan Huckluck on the draw gets inside the 25 to about the 23 before running into Tom Tuanay, number 88, and Danny Bass, the middle linebacker, number 30. Mike Kerrigan, let me tell you a little story about him that Wally Crowder of Toronto was telling me. Kerrigan was originally Eskimo property, and he came to Edmonton. They advanced him some expense money, but then he had an opportunity to go back to the New England Patriots. He went back. Edmonton released him at his request, and when he got to New England, he sent them all the expense money that they had paid him. Frankie Morris, who's the great scout of the Eskimos, said in his life in football, he's never known a player who ever sent back expense money.
There wouldn't be many, I can tell you that. Well, the good thing that Mike Kerrigan did on this drive, last time he took a chance and threw an interception. This time, he didn't get the first down, but what he did was throw a safe pass, no chance of being picked off, and now he's got his kicker, Paul OSBALDISTON, in great shape.
The field goal try will come from the 30-yard line. Tom Porras with the hold. The kick is up. It is good. 7 minutes and 2 seconds left to play in the first half. The Eskimos aren't on the scoreboard yet, and Hamilton has a 20-point lead. They have had 9 possessions, those Edmonton Eskimos, and on 6 occasions, as Frank told you, they turned the ball over. Well, this certainly ranked as one of the great upsets, because Edmonton coming off a 13-win season, Hamilton only 9. They haven't beaten the Eskimos in 15 straight occasions. I mean, you would have had to think, as many did, that Edmonton had a lead pipe cinch game on their hands.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Pat. I think the Ticat defense came out and established themselves from the very first play. Grover Covington sacked Matt Dunnigan, caused a fumble. They put it in the end zone, and they've just totally taken it away from him.
I think you're absolutely right. Chris Skinner takes the handoff from Damon Allen, but he's wrapped up by Ben Zambiazzi, among others. Mitchell Price, 65, was in there as well.
I think we all felt that it would probably be the team that protected their quarterback the best that would, of course, win the football game. Every time Damon Allen or Matt Dunnigan has thrown, they've had a guy right in their face, and that really messes up the sight lines. Mike Kerrigan, he's had all day to throw the football.
Well, the Eskimos desperately need a big play. Let's see if Allen can provide it. Going deep for Brian Kelly, and it's knocked away at the final moment by Lance Shields. It's a solid secondary that the Ticats possess. The newcomer, Jim Rockford, is in there in place of Les Brown. But, I mean, otherwise, you've got people like Mark Streeter. He's been around 5 years. Paul Bennett has been in the league 10. Howard Field, 6 years. Lance Shields, 4. So they've got some experience where it counts.
Well, I find it a little surprising that they haven't thrown the ball at Jim Rockford. They've tested Lance Shields. He's had an interception, a couple of tipped balls. So I'm really surprised they haven't gone after the newcomers.
Tom Dixon, you see, fine afternoon for him, averaging 43 yards. With 5:50 left to play in the first half. This is Paul Bennett from his 31-yard line. And he gets to the 35, not any further. I'm Pat Marsden, along with Frank Rigney and Leif Pedersen, sitting in beautiful BC Stadium Place, watching an unbelievable display of defense by the Hamilton Ticats, who lead the ball game 20-0.
Well, they played their finest game of the season last week in Toronto. The Hamilton Tiger Cats, of course, coming back from the 26-point deficit, and they've just continued this afternoon right from where they left off last week.
Hard to believe that a quarterback who's completed 5 out of 17 enjoys a 20-point lead, but that is exactly what is the case.
I think the Eskimo quarterbacks have completed 5 to the Hamilton secondary.
Well, you can see the thinking of Mike Kerrigan has really changed now in the second quarter. With a 20-point lead, he's running the ball on first down. Early in the game, he was throwing every first down opportunity, but now I think they've become a little more conservative.
On that carry by Jed Tommy, the Ticats picked up a couple of yards, so make it 2nd and 8. The ball is at their 38-yard line. Kerrigan to a wide-open Tony Champion. Champion is down to about the 38-yard line. They blew the coverage in that Eskimo secondary. Jeff Volpe finally came across to make the stop, but no one was around Tony Champion, who picks up an easy 34 yards.
Well, he runs an out and up, and Steve Stapler, they take it to the inside and pull Greg Harding in with him, and that left Tony Champion wide open down the sidelines, and a good read by Mike Kerrigan.
Boy, I don't think I've seen a receiver that wide open for an awful long time.
Frank, he's got just a beautiful stride when he's running down that field, too. He's a true sprinter.
From the 38-yard line, Mike Kerrigan looks, fires, looking for Ingram. A penalty marker comes down. Pass interference will be against Greg Harding.
Well, Leif, you were certainly very, very accurate early in this ball game.
Forward pass interference. Edmonton number 4.
When you said that they'd be picking on Greg Harding number 4, they've done it with success 4 or 5 times now, and Harding's getting to the point where he's got to grab hold of somebody.
Well, I tell you, Greg Harding's a little nervous right here because they come with the blitz. He knows he's got man-to-man, and if Ingram gets by, he's beaten badly. So he just has to knock him down.
The ball is at the 19-yard line. First down, Hamilton. Good contact down there as Steve Stapler was looking for the touchdown pass, but Mark Jackson laid a good hit on him.
Well, you know what they've done now, Pat? They've taken Greg Harding out of the game. They brought Mark Jackson in now to play that left corner. Jeff George, number 29, has moved over into Harding's spot on that right corner.
Well-delivered football.
Well, that's good timing by Mark Jackson, though, to get that helmet in there.
Good job. 2nd and 10.
Ball right at the 19-yard line. Kerrigan's pass over the head of Tony Champion. He jumped, gave it the one-handed shot, but couldn't come down with the football. So we are going to see Paul OSBALDISTON once more.
Well, it's pretty much the same situation as the last drive. You know, don't do anything silly. Don't give up an interception, because the worst that's going to happen is Paul OSBALDISTON comes out and gets another chance.
It'll be a 26-yard effort. Tom Forrest, the backup quarterback, number 8, will put the spot down for him. It is good. Well, Paul OSBALDISTON connects on his 3rd field goal of the first half. And with 3 minutes and 24 seconds left to play, I don't think there is anyone in the world who could have forecast that the Hamilton Ticats would be leading the Edmonton Eskimos 23-0. Well, let me ask both you guys, because you played in so many championship games. Frank, do you think the Eskimos may have left it on the field last weekend against BC?
I think, Pat, that they came out very, very nervous. They just could not handle the football, but more than that, they can't handle that defensive line of the Hamilton Ticats.
Dunnigan wanted to set up the screen. Does get the ball to Milson Jones, but like every other play, there are too many Ticats there. Leo Esrins and Frank Robinson both there to snuff out that screen pass.
Frank, you know, I honestly feel that the Edmonton Eskimos, of course, playing at home the last few weeks, had an advantage with the bad weather. There's no advantage in the dome.
23-0. Hamilton leads Edmonton. Grey Cup 86 will be back in just a moment.
Small business, big business, mom, pa, and even kid business. Holiday time. Find your holiday answers now at Computerland.
The Compact Portable 2, the answer for portability. Improved design and technology make it 30% smaller and 400% faster than the original Compact. Compact Portable 2, setting a new standard in portability.
Find your holiday answers now at Computerland.
The Marines are looking for a few good men. Unfortunately, you ain't it.
Gunny, my weapon's jammed.
Come on. I'll put my life takers and heartbreakers up against anyone, any place, at any time. We're going to war, men.
Clint Eastwood, Heartbreak Ridge.
Opens Friday, December 5th at a theater near you. Check your local listings for details.
In this year's Grey Cup game, the Carling O'Keefe Sports Game Stars will each receive a 36-inch Sony Videoscope state-of-the-art TV set presented by Remington, makers of the 3M surgical clippers and the microscreen rechargeable. Advanced shaving technology only from Remington. 2 minutes, 59 seconds left to play in the first half. There's your score, surprising it as it is. And Dunnigan drops the football again. The Ticats have him at the 33-yard line. Grover Covington, Mike Walker, they're all playing so well. There's Walker, number 61. Grover Covington, 77. He's been in Dunnigan's face all day. Just watch this.
Well, I had a long chat with Grover Covington and Ben Zambiasi at practice the other day. They said, yes, we can get pressure on Dunnigan. We're going to, and boy, were they right.
That, I believe, is the 3rd time that Dunnigan's put it on the ground. And including the very first offensive play for the Eskimos.
I mean, they're stripping the football at every chance today as well.
Kerrigan's pass was very nearly picked off by Danny Bass. He was looking for Rocky DiPietro, who was coming across the middle. Well, you're not likely to see a team in the Canadian Football League play any better defensively than you are watching Hamilton here this afternoon.
Of course, that's always been the story about the Hamilton Tiger Cats. When you go to describe them, you always, first thing you mention is their defense. It's carried them for a long way.
It's 2nd down and 10 for the Ticats, with the ball at the 33-yard line of the Eskimos. Kerrigan's pass is off Tony Champion's hands, and then also off the hands of Jeff Volpe. This has been a very strange football encounter.
Now, he really has not thrown the ball well on the last 3 series, and I guess the only saving grace in the back of his mind is he knows every time he's in field goal position. So, but that's a horrible pass.
Kerrigan is 7 for 21 for 149 yards. So that means we'll see Mr. OSBALDISTON again. From the 40-yard line, he'll try his 4th field goal. And he is 4 for 4. And the Hamilton Ticats are now up by 26 points. No, but I mean, you talk about consistency. OSBALDISTON's 4 field goals, 39, 30, 26, 40. Well, now you've got to go to the second half. And what do you say if you're Jackie Parker? Go out and have some fun? No, but I mean, what can Jack say? You know, really.
Well, I think what he's got to say is, look, guys, we can't get it back all at once. We just got to go back to what we were originally trying to do. But the first thing they got to do is hold on to the football. They just give it up every time they get possession.
Dunnigan's pass is caught by Doug Allen for a first down at the 47-yard line. Boy, it would certainly help the Eskimo cause if they could move this ball downfield and pick up a major score before the half.
Well, Pat, you and I saw them earlier this year in Ottawa. They were down by 20 points. They were able to come back, and so we know they have that ability. Whether they can do it this afternoon, though, is another thing. This is a different defense.
We also saw them come from way back in the 4th quarter, led by Damon Allen against Hamilton to win that one 24-23.
I was talking before about the weather conditions. You know, for the Eskimos, I think it's such a psychological edge at this time of the year to be playing at home, and they've had that edge over the teams they've played in the last few weeks. Here, there's no psychological edge. Everybody's got the nice conditions to play under.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Dunnigan's pass is dropped by Rick House.
Lee, how do you explain this? I mean, the ball is absolutely perfectly thrown.
Well, you know, I talked to Marco Sincar the other day. Pat, you and I had a chat with him, and I said, what are the sight lines like in here to catch footballs? He said, I don't like it. He said, I find it very difficult, the depth perception in here, and maybe some of the Eskimos are having trouble that way.
Dunnigan has only completed 3 passes this afternoon and is sacked once more by Grover Covington, who got all kinds of help from Mike Walker because it was Walker who made the presentation, or rather the penetration, and Covington got the sack.
You called it perfectly. It was that's what you want to do to Dunnigan. Force him back up the middle to where you're going to get some help. They ran a stunt. Covington gets the sack, but Walker really made the play.
Well, you know, you can make a lot of excuses for the Eskimos in terms of their offensive line, the changes and all that they had to go through. But that was Rudy Phillips, the best offensive lineman they have, that Covington beat. There's no excuse for that.
So on 3rd down and lots, Dixon is punting again. And this one bounces between Wayne Lee and Paul Bennett, picked up by Lee back at his 13-yard line, and he's dropped there. Larry Ruck, number 47, was first downfield. So now the Ticats have 1:58 to kill. They don't need any more points at this juncture. They just like to hang on to the football and make sure that they go to the locker room at halftime ahead by 26 points.
Yeah, I think what they're thinking right now, and I'm sure Al Bruno's talked to Mike Kerrigan about this. Listen, we've got the big lead. We don't want to beat ourselves. If Edmonton's going to get back in this game, make them earn it. Don't give them anything cheap, the interceptions and the fumbles.
Starting from the 12-yard line. Pass is caught by DiPietro. He's wrapped up immediately by Cliff Toney. But he'll pick up about 5 or 6 yards. Steve, what does Mr. Covington have to say?
I'm just going to ask him, Pat. Grover, what are you guys doing defensively to shut down this Eskimo offense?
We want to win the Grey Cup.
That's what are you doing to shut them down?
Everybody just going out playing 100% and doing their assignments, and just, you know, I've been in the league 6 years, and a lot of the guys, we just want it, and that's all we're doing is just going out and get it.
Okay, Pat.
Thanks, Steve. 2nd down, about 4 yards to go. And as Leaf said, they're just doing everything very conservatively now. They hit Ron Ingram, a little short out. Mark Jackson makes the stop, but it's a first down. And what it does, it gives them some breathing room, and it also keeps the ball away from the Edmonton offense. And they desperately need it because they trail 26-0.
You know, Frank, I think it was interesting what Grover Covington said. You know, we're not trying to do anything fancy or tricks or anything. We're just going out and playing as hard as we can, and they're having great success.
From the 25-yard line, the handoff inside with Jed Tomey leading the blocking and Dan Huckluck carrying the football. The Ticats pick up about 5.5 yards.
You know, the Eskimos look like they're really whipped. They're just accepting those blocks. They're really taking off on the football line, offensive line of the Ticats, and it's a very demoralized Western Champion Football Club right now.
And again, going deep for Stapler. He makes the catch at the 41-yard line. Had all kinds of time to throw the football. Kerrigan puts it right where Steve Stapler can get it, and nobody else can. And they end up with a 38-yard gain.
Well, it doesn't matter who they put on the corner. That time it was Ronnie Howard. They just go right by him.
I think they should just keep throwing deep. Kerrigan's had problems throwing the ball short, but when he goes deep to Stapler, he's right on the money.
Has it down to the Eskimo 42 with 58 seconds left to play in the half. Huckluck, the ball carrier, runs into Danny Bass, the middle linebacker, at about the 39-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 3.
Well, isn't it funny how things change? I'm sure at the beginning of this drive, Mike Kerrigan saying to himself, I just want to maybe get 2 first downs and at least get it out of deep in our own territory. Now, one big play, and he's thinking field goal at least.
Clock is running. We're down to 40 seconds left to play in the half. That crossing pattern goes to Rocky DiPietro. He does not. They rule that he was wrapped up at the 33-yard line. Mark Jackson makes the tackle. The ball did come loose, but it came loose after the officials had ruled that he had been stopped.
Excellent throw by Kerrigan. It's going to be short of a first down, so I think we're going to see young Paul OSBALDISTON one more time trying to put this thing to 29-0.
OSBALDISTON has been good on 4 of his 4 field goal attempts. Miles Gurrell, who was selected the best offensive lineman in Eastern Canada this season, is the injured ball player.
Oh, what a turnaround year for Miles, too. Last year he was released by the Montreal Concords. They said he just wasn't good enough anymore. Al Bruno resurrected him, brought him back, and now he's up for a Shenley.
You know what? And he's a very pleasant giant of a man.
He's a great guy, and been around the league for 9 years, University of Ottawa.
6'8", 285 pounds.
He's more than 285. He's over 300. I saw him in a nice suit the other night. I said, they're going to be charging you double for those suits. That's a lot of material.
Well, Miles and that offensive line have certainly done their job. Kerrigan has not been sacked all day. Matt Denigan on the other side of the fence has been drilled 4 times.
And even outside of that, all the pressure in his face, you know.
Yep, it's been a tough afternoon. OSBALDISTON trying 5 for 5 is good. $29-0. Hamilton, 9 seconds left to play in the first half.
You know, if you'll recall, last year Lou Pasaglia kicked 5 field goals in the 1985 Grey Cup. It took him the whole game. Paul's done it in a half of football.
Edmonton Eskimos total offense in the first half, 25 yards.
Just amazing. Really, truly amazing. But you got to credit that Ticat defense. They just came after him, as I said, right from the opening gun.
Well, Pat, we've only got 9 seconds left. Once again, I'd like to thank you for just a great year you and I have had together. And Riggs, always a pleasure to come and work with you, too.
It certainly is. And there are 2 other people that I want to thank, Riggs. Our 2 pals, Bobby Layden, who handles the stats for us, and our old pal, Alex Ponton, who does the spotting. Both great helps to everybody on the crew, and we certainly appreciate it and thank them. hard to believe that another football season has come to a wind down.
Certainly is, and we certainly enjoyed bringing you this first half. Chuck Ely, Ron Lancaster, Don Whitman will be bringing you the final 30 minutes. And boy, the Eskimos are going to have to do something awfully quick just to make this entertaining the next 30 minutes.
They need something good to happen to them. I don't know if that's going to occur, but they just have not had any luck today at all.
Tom Richards with the kickoff return. Gets it up over the 40 to about the 43-yard line. And of course, you know, tempers are going to be frayed, particularly with the way the score is right now. Kurt Chapman was kind of talking it up with number 39, and that is Edgar Beckus. Yes, Al, go ahead.
This is a look at the Eskimo bench. They realize they're in tough now, but this team was down a lot of points in Ottawa one time. And you can see James Zachary talking it up, trying to get more life into this football team. But boy, as you said, Frank and Pat, they got a long road to hoe.
Need a big, big play right now. And what happens? Exactly what the story of the first half was. It's just an unbelievable display by the Hamilton Ticat defense. That time, David Sauvé. Covington was there, too. Also in the backfield was Mitchell Price. Hats off to the Hamilton Tiger Cats for a terrific display of defensive football. They lead it 29-0 at the half. This is Grey Cup 86 from BC Place in Vancouver.
When it comes time to sell your home, consider this. Only one real estate sales organization sells more homes, finds more homes every day than anyone else in the world. No one has the power to move real estate like Century 21. Century 21, the largest real estate organization in the world.
You want to know what shock looks like, folks? You're looking at it now. That is probably the quietest place in the province of British Columbia. The Eskimos destroyed by that great Hamilton defense. They trailed 29-0 at halftime. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Brian Williams. It is halftime under the dome at BC Place Stadium in Vancouver. The Hamilton touchdowns by Steve Stapler and Jim Rockford. Paul OSBALDISTON has kicked 5 field goals. We should have a good halftime show. It is being put on today by the city of Calgary as the Grey Cup salutes the 1988 Winter Olympic Games.
Ladies and gentlemen, Calgary, the Stampede City, Canada's host city for the 1988 Winter Olympics, is privileged to present your halftime entertainment as a tribute to the beautiful city of Vancouver, host of the 1986 Canadian Football League's contest for its loftiest symbol of achievement, the Grey Cup. And here to represent their country is the pride of that city and the province of Alberta, the young Canadians of the Calgary Stampede.
Throwing a western winging today for everyone in BC. We're glad we're here, so we can invite you to the Winter Olympics in Calgary. We'll be proud to have you, proud to show you our hospitality. We're throwing a western winging today here in Vancouver, BC. It's proud to be inside
We salute Vancouver on Grey Cup Day with a Calgary mini parade led by our mounted cowboy flag bearers and members of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. From the Calgary Exhibition and Stampede, we have Queen Kerrigan and Princesses Jane Boyce and Kathleen Mackey. In our character section, Tillicum from the Vancouver Centennial characters, along with Captain Vancouver. And there's Mayor Ralph Klein from Calgary in the antique automobile. The Calgary Stampede Marching Band. And on the Calgary Stampede Chuck Wagon, our mascot, Harry the Horse. Right behind them, we have members of our Indian community from around the Calgary area. And from the Olympics in 1988, OCO executives Dave Thompson, Jerry Joint, and Bob Niven. The Calgary Float, winner of 12 first prize entries this year as it toured around Canada, representing the city of Calgary. Introducing the international award-winning Stampede Youth Marching Show Band.
While the players rest and regroup, stay with us. Lots more to come. This is Grey Cup 86 live from Vancouver.
Working conditions in an excavation or anywhere on a construction site can cause tragic accidents. Both workers and management share the responsibility of making working conditions safe for everyone. The Safety Act gives the worker the right to refuse to work in unsafe conditions, but it is each worker's good judgment and awareness that can eliminate them. Awareness is know-how. We've got it. Let's use it. Your Construction Safety Association.
Gas. We bring the energy. Abundant, economical, natural gas.
The perpetual symbolic ceremony of the Olympic Games is the lighting of the Olympic torch with a flame carried from Greece by athletes in the manner being demonstrated by Olympian Jungle Jim Hunter.
Le porte-flambeau est Jungle Jim Hunter.
For the 1988 Winter Olympics to be held in Canada with Calgary as the host city, this ancient flame will illuminate and preside over the games to be presented in the finest, most elaborate facilities ever developed by any nation for this most prestigious event. Facilities to which all Canadians may point with pride and use for years to come.
Les épreuves de patinage de vitesse auront lieu dans le nouvel ovale olympique.
For the first time in the history of the Games, all speed skating events will be held indoors so that Canada's international visitors can enjoy these competitions in the relative comfort of the new 400-meter roofed Olympic Oval built on the campus of the University of Calgary.
Les épreuves de ski alpin se dérouleront en Nikiska sur le mont Allen et celles de ski de fond au centre nordique de Canmore.
The Olympic skiing competitions will be held at two outstanding venues complete with elaborate housing and training facilities. A freestyle as well as the alpine events will be at Nikiska on Mount Allen, and the Nordic Center at Canmore is the site for cross-country, Nordic combined, and biathlon events.
Les épreuves de luge et le bobsleigh et le saut en ski se tiendront au Parc olympique du Canada.
The new Canada Olympic Park, 15 minutes from downtown Calgary, is the location of the Canadian world-class luge and bobsled courses. And as well, it is the site of the impressive towering structures for the 70 and 90-meter ski jumping events.
Les matchs de hockey et le patinage artistique auront lieu au Saddledome olympique de Calgary.
The Olympic Saddledome in Calgary, which boasts an ice surface expandable to Olympic size, thereafter will continue to accommodate the National Hockey League and be available to the national team and other local, national, and international ice events. We look forward to a superlative Canadian Winter Olympic team as we honor the flags of the provinces and the territories from which our athletes will come to converge on Calgary in 1988.
Nous honorons ici nos provinces et nos territoires ainsi que nos athlètes qui représenteront le Canada en 1988.
Flying the Newfoundland and Yukon flags for our hockey team is a member of the 1982 national team, David Hindmarsh. A bobsled Olympic team member in the 70s, Jim LaValle, is entering with the flag of Nova Scotia. We honor New Brunswick and the Northwest Territories as we present a great supporter of our flying luge competitors, Kathy Armstrong. The flag of Prince Edward Island is raised on the vehicle carrying a three-time Canadian biathlon champion, Amo Talvanen. Here is the present junior girls world champion speed skater, Eden Donatelli, for our team at La Belle Province, Quebec. Ontario is pleased to represent the cross-country events, with Kathy Lowen doing the honor. From the 1968 Olympic team, three-time Canadian slalom champion, we have Judy Lineweber-McIntosh for Manitoba. The record holder at Mount Norquay, 72 national champion and Olympic team member Rick Gullis is here for Saskatchewan and to wish our high-flying ski jumpers long and happy landings. To represent Alberta and downhill skiing, we have a 1968 Canadian champion, Karen Ducker-Vagelatis. The flag of British Columbia flies as former Olympian Benita Cave enters the arena.
Nous rendons hommage ici à travers trois des groupes athlètes canadiennes et tous nos athlètes d'hier et d'aujourd'hui qui ont représenté avec valeur leur pays.
And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we remember all of the great Canadian athletes, past and present, who participated in Olympic competitions for their country. Here to honor them all are three Canadian heroes we are so very proud of. The winner of 5 Cup events in downhill, Mr. Ken Reed. The 1968 Olympic gold medalist in women's giant slalom, Nancy Green-Rain. And the only woman to have ever won the Olympic figure skating championship for Canada, Mrs. Thomas King, better known as Barbara Ann Scott. We salute all of our Olympians, past and present, and those who will represent Canada in Calgary in 1988. With the official Olympic song, ladies and gentlemen, Coming Together.
We're all pulling together. We're all working as one. Now it's taking shape and it's something great. Now the dream has begun. Oh, we're all together. Each one doing their part. Yes, we're on our way and we want to say something straight from the heart. You can see it together. You can hear it together. You can feel it in now and share it. There's a spirit burning bright, reaching out for all to see, and we see it coming. Come together in Calgary. Everyone's a winner at the Olympic Games. Go for gold, believe it in your life. It's an opportunity to represent your country and to show that we Northern Canadians have class. As more than that, we'll welcome all and have a chance to get together in the brotherhood of man to you. So let's for peace and harmony around the world, and that's the goal we'll win. For me and you.
A first-rate halftime show. In fact, I think it's the best I've ever seen in a Grey Cup game. I wish I could say the same about the first half of football. Not a good game unless you're a member of that Hamilton defense or you're a Ticat fan. The Ticats dominating by a score of 29-0. Right now, let's analyze the first half. Here are Frank Rigney and Ron Lancaster.
Well, certainly there are an awful lot of surprises in that first half, Ron. The score is a shocker. But what was the most impressive thing you thought the Ticats did in the first 30 minutes?
Just swarmed all over him, beat him up, took the ball away, and put it in the end zone. That's all there was to it.
Well, I tell you, we're gonna take a look at a few highlights, and we've got the first play of this football game that the Edmonton Eskimos had the ball on offense. It started the whole landslide, I guess you'd have to call it. Grover Covington got in on Matt Dunnigan and caused the first turnover of the football game.
Well, that's been the story of the whole first half. Anytime a quarterback for Edmonton's tried to throw, there's been black jerseys in his face. And when they get the ball, it's been a Steve Stapler show. What a throw. The pump by Mike Kerrigan, and he puts it on the money. You talk about a game of inches. Greg Harding was beat. He gets back, almost knocks it down, concentration, touchdown, and that's the way this whole first half has gone.
Well, that made, of course, 7-0 in the opening moments of the football game, and then Tom Dixon has a kick block shortly thereafter.
Well, there's been so many mistakes and turnovers by Edmonton, you can't expect them to be in a ball game. One block punt a year is too many, especially in a championship game.
Steve Stapler, and you're absolutely right, Ron, it has been the Steve Stapler show as far as the receiver is concerned. He's had 4 receptions in the first half of this football game for 122 yards.
Watch the catch here. This is pretty good coverage. This is just great concentration by Stapler. The ball's coming over that other shoulder. Greg Harding again with him, but Steve Stapler comes down with it, and that's what a good receiver will do.
Well, that made it 17-0 at the end of the first quarter, and it just looked like, Ron, that he was playing with a different football. Nobody else could catch it. But look at this.
It was like glue. If it was in his area, it was in his hands, and that's, well, I'll tell you, that's been the whole first half, the Stapler show and the Hamilton defense.
Well, Paul OSBALDISTON, I think, should deserve a little bit of credit, too. He's got 5 field goals in the first half of this football game. But believe it or not, the Ticats were 12-point underdogs. They lead the Edmonton Eskimos 29-0.
Well, that's a little bit of a surprise, but if you watch the football game, then you know exactly why it's 29-0. Hamilton's done it all.
Can Edmonton come back?
They're not going to win it. Not now.
I agree with you, Ron Lancaster. You Edmonton Eskimo fans remember 1981. The Ottawa Rough Riders led the Eskimos by a score of 20-1 at halftime at Montreal's Olympic Stadium. They came back to win that football game, but I have to agree with Ron Lancaster, that is not going to happen here this afternoon. A good halftime show, and let's wrap it up as we continue from Vancouver.
As we stage this halftime show. Stand by. Ladies and gentlemen, under the baton of Dr. Stanley Finn, we conclude our Calgary Olympic presentation with the entire company in a beautiful hymn dedicated to all Canadians across this magnificent country, O Land of Promise. Nations participating in the 1988 Winter Olympics in Calgary.
Congratulations, Calgary. You put on a tremendous halftime show. This is Grey Cup 86, live from BC Place Stadium in Vancouver.
Any way you look at it, Canada, this is great compact car value. This is Dodge and Plymouth Canada K. Price $900 less than Ford Tempo GL, with $689 in no-cost extras and no increase over last year's price. And right now, you're looking at a 3.9% interest rate. Yes, 3.9% on Dodge Aries and Plymouth Reliant Canada K. But hurry, Chrysler's 3.9% great rate break is a limited time offer.
Building a secure future starts with a solid foundation. As of January 1st, changes to your Canada pension plan will make it more flexible, more generous, and more realistic. A solid foundation for a more secure tomorrow.
We can all use this bit of good news today.
You can get details by calling this toll-free number now, or look for the ad in your local newspaper.
Hi, everybody. Well, one hesitates to say that a game is over because we all remember what happened last week at CNE Stadium in Toronto when the Ticats trailed by 26 points. But I think, Chuck Ely and Ron Lancaster, that the Hamilton Tiger Cats are going to win their first Grey Cup since you two played in the game in 1972.
Well, it looks that way right now. They had not to have to come out here and try to play conservative, just play the type of game they played the first half, be aggressive, and they'll have a good chance of winning this game for sure.
Well, defense is what's done it for them, and that's what's got them this big lead. And I just really can't see this Ticat defense letting up. They're on a roll, and everything's going their way.
Al Bruno, who played on a Grey Cup winner in 1952 and coached in a Grey Cup game in 1966. He was on the losing end as an assistant with the Ottawa Roughriders out here in Vancouver when they lost to the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and Ron Lancaster was the quarterback that day. In 1972, of course, it was Chuck Ely defeating Ron Lancaster in that 13-10 Grey Cup win at Iverwin Stadium.
Well, that was a great win for me as a quarterback in the Hamilton Tiger-Cats, and they haven't had a win since then, but it looks like a good opportunity for them this afternoon.
Well, they started out strong defensively. That's been their strength, especially early in the year till Mike Kerrigan got in there and got that offense rolling. But that defense today, as you can see by that statistic of -1 yards total offense, that's not going to win you very many football games.
When was the last time, regular season, preseason, or postseason, you saw a team play a half of football and be in the minus category statistically?
Well, not very long, because especially a team like Edmonton, you know you have such a high-powered type of offense to be in that type of situation.
29-0, the halftime score.